So, Harrison, Eobard is dead, but Harrison is somewhat not. What can you tease? What can you hint?
I can tell you my starting point for agreeing to do this show. My starting point for the show has always been as Eobard Thawne. So, you know, that continues.
You guys are, you guys are not being big at all.
I don't think that's vague at all. It's like that's a starting point. That's how I approach. Last year I played 4 characters, and I approached every one of them from the starting point of Reverse Flash as a core. You know, and I think that will never change.
Your character has created a lack of confidence in Barry. That he doesn't trust anybody anymore, pretty much as a mentor.
Yeah, I think the thing that Barry recognizes, which I think is at the crux of his uncertainty, is the fact that people genuinely had his interest at heart, which is true. You know, part of the great enjoyment for me playing this character, for the people that watch it, the nice thing they did for the people that watch it is they didn't do a sketch of a villain who was twirling a mustache and, you know, was just evil for the sake of being evil. They created this guy, or I shouldn't say they created, but Harrison Wells is sort of one of the few new entries to the Flash mythology, and the fact that Harrison Wells is then like the Reverse Flash, which is, as we know, an old entry, you know, made it a villain that was real and had goals that both supported Barry and worked against him, in that it was important to Harrison Wells and Eobard that Barry be protected, and it was also important for him. He was just a guy trying to go home, so he had those goals, and if people had to die along the way, well, to him they've been dead for 100 years already, and so no great loss. But his affection and his marshaling of Barry's powers was always genuine. In other words, he wasn't just the sketch of a villain. He was like, he had these goals, and so for Barry to have earned this trust, and for that to be an actual level of real trust that got broken, as opposed to having just been a sham all along, is the thing that sends him into a bit of is one of the things that sends him into a bit of a spot. It's like when you really did love somebody, and that love was actually real, then it's gone, as opposed to like, they never liked you, they were cheating the whole time. But the fact that it was a genuine relationship that got crushed at the end has, you know, had very real effects on him. Which, to me, you know, technically, the writers don't get a lot of credit always, but I just think that they did a good job writing that out in the first season, and hopefully they'll do the same in the second season. They better.
We fell in love with you, and then you just broke our hearts.
Well, I mean, but it's fun to watch, right? I mean, it's like it's fun to play and it's fun to watch.
Yes, it was fantastic.
The time travel element, there's always a chance that somebody's going to be really dead, obviously.
Heck yeah.
Can we get
I depend on
Can we get Wells back without Reverse Flash?
Yeah, I mean, this is not to say this is what we're doing, but when you ask that question, like I know in episode 17, pretty sure it was 17 last year, I played that Wells. There was one episode where I played
Before Car Crash.
a version of that Wells. So I guess the short answer is we've done it before. I see no reason we couldn't do it again. But I will also say, caveat to that being, so much more enjoyable when there's these 2 levels working. See you later, Barry takes on a whole new meaning. You know, I'll look for you later, Oliver takes on a whole new meaning when there's got those 2 levels of play. So that's what I enjoyed it.
Even though we only got like a little brief, you know, a glimpse on the real Harrison Wells, what kind of man do you think he is? You know, like if you could put the Tom Cavanagh spin on it.
The Tom Cavanagh spin was that this is actually true because I wrote Kreisberg about this. He's a guy who loves to eat. And as a matter of fact, when you did see that guy, if I'm not mistaken, he was eating for half the scenes. You asked for a Tom Cavanagh spin.
Yeah, I know. I'm not judging.
Yeah, he's a man who eats a lot.
high metabolism. So
yeah, high metabolism from the future. Let's get a high metabolism.
What is the funnest part about playing, or like you said, the 4 characters?
The most enjoyable part, and again, the reason to sign on to the show has been is putting on the suit. You know, as a person, I like it. Our show has a tendency to get robust and athletic, and when that happens, those are generally my favorite moments. I really like that.
So, in fact, I love the dimensionality of Wells' character, where is he evil, is he not evil? You know, now that we know that
I already talked to these people.
that Eobard is quite evil, or not in his own mind, not in his own mind, let's say not in his own mind. How for season 2, or my goodness, it's only season 2.
It's only season 2. We'll be back here next year probably. We'll be like, hey, it's season 3 now. By the way, I know what's happening.
No, I already.
Well,
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you.
Well, I mean, since you're forward-looking and such, so what can you tell us about the dimensionality of it?
Well, like you said, you know, I mean, here's something, and this is like, I will say this about this show. First off, you're doing these roundtables, everyone's coming in, picking their wares, and it's not an easy situation for you guys, you know, because, you know, the trap for an actor is to believe the hype, you know, and like I said, we'll be here next year. We might not be here next year, you know, this might be it might be a dud of a season, we're down to 2, but one of the nice things that they have done is they've been fearless about the writing. They haven't tried, and I think it's good. If I were in your position, I think there might be, for me, there would be a level of appreciation for the fact that, look, if we go down, we're going down swinging. You know, we're trying very hard to not repeat ourselves. You know, and so what we did in season 1, I thought we did a decent job. You know, we had a decent season finale, and people seemed to respond to it. And the danger is, let's do that again. And a lot of television shows come in here and they've done that. And if it works for them, fine, more power to it. But for us, from the beginning, we did a pilot that worked, I guess, because we're here, but we did not ever try to just repeat. We just tried to move forward. And these guys who do the show genuinely love it. It's one of their, like, you know, it's from the heart, you know. And so they want to have this on their desk when all is said and done, and feel like they really took chances and they got as much out as they could. And that's, I think, it's good for people who are covering it like yourself. I think it's really good for the viewers, and that's what we're going to do. We're not trying to repeat stuff. We're trying to get stuff out there, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least it won't be for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.